Hi everybody! Welcome to D.I.Y, and today I'm going to do a really fun DIY. It's very similar to the other DIY that I just did recently, but there's a few differences and it's kind of like more of a change up of the theme. There's a little bit of a different way of doing this one. I'm doing a dinosaur bath salt themed thing. You could potentially make this actually into a scrub in case somebody's more into showers than baths, which is a definite possibility. There's lots of people that don't like baths. Then maybe they don't find that relaxing or whatever. We're gonna get into this. So I'm gonna show you guys a few of the things that I'm using for this DIY video. So this is going to be kind of an interesting one. If you happen to have this laying around, maybe you've done like dinosaur themed stuff for somebody, like a cake or something like that, because this is like an ice cube tray. People have probably made stuff like this they probably made like chocolates, like white chocolates and stuff like that, and put this on cakes and whatever else. I think you can still sort of get this, but I think it's a little harder to find. I'm gonna try to link it down below if I can find it. I know that I was having difficulty searching for it earlier on Amazon, but yeah, I'll try to see if I can link it down below. If for some reason I have this video up still and you can't find this anywhere, I'm going to show you some other alternatives as to how to make something along this line so you could potentially give gifts like this in the future if you wanted to. So anyways, I have this guy for the soaps that we're going to be making. This is our soap mold. And yeah, it's perfect for this sort of thing. Of course, I have this. Again, I have another one that I'm going to probably be using for somebody who's not into fragrances and maybe like they're allergic to it or they're just very sensitive to it or something along those lines. You can find a lot of stuff that aren't fragranced, but I should have picked up some stuff that I saw at the dollar store. You can get this stuff at the dollar store, the grocery store. There's so many different places that you can get this. I'll link a few different options down below, maybe something that's not fragranced. But if you wanted to make this fragrance, you can get different fragrances and things like that and add them to the salt baths. If you want the stuff to smell nice, maybe your friend that you're gifting to or yourself that you're making this for is really into like a specific scent or fragrance and you just want to add that scent in there and smell like that when you come out of the bath, you know. So there's that option as well in case you want to make something nice fruity fragrance or whatever you want. Okay, so there's that. I also have, just like the last video, I have jars that it's like pretty much the same thing. I got like 6 of these, so this is like a brand new pack of jars, and I was again very lucky. There's only 2 different types of bottles like this, and this was the other themed one that I found. This like plastic jar. It's very similar to the beach one that I found. I think I found these at Dollarama or something, some sort of dollar store anyways. And I like them because they look like almost like a jungle. It looks very Jurassic Park to me. So again, if you don't feel like decorating stuff, like making almost like a snow globe sort of effect like I've done with the beach stuff, if you don't like doing that sort of thing, you can even just fill this whole thing to the top. I also have these guys. I haven't broken into these yet, but these shovels that I used for the last DIY as well. And if you wanted to, you could sort of like make them look like actual shovels and sort of stick them in for decoration, or you can stick them on the side, which is kind of a fun idea as well. This I kind of got, so they're like the drink umbrella things, but like they look like little palm trees, which I also thought kind of went with this sort of thing and just thought it was really, really cute. Again, you do not have to buy these. You don't have to get this if you don't want to. So there's that. Also, so I was thinking of adding this, maybe a little bit of oatmeal if you want to. You don't have to go that route, but I figured it's nice to add a little bit of oatmeal. It makes your skin very soft. Like it can actually clear up a lot of skin problems. It's actually really good for your skin. If you want like smooth moisturized skin, like you have fairly dry skin, which I actually have combination skin. I can break out in pimples pretty easily, but I also have very dry skin. Because I'm getting older too, I think like as you age, your skin gets a little bit drier. But I think my skin's always been kind of like on the drier side. I tend to use like a makeup that has more of a moisturizer component in it. It also looks like sand or dirt or something like that to grind up some oatmeal. So I'm gonna add some of that, I think, for a little bit more layered textures. And I'm gonna say, get some sort of very fine ground espresso. The more organic your stuff is, the better. And I know that sounds expensive, so this may not be the cheapest DIY in the world for you. I don't know if you decide to go this route. I'm just telling you that, like, basically, if you wouldn't eat it or consume it, why are you putting that on the outside of your skin? That's basically how I feel, right? So you can heed my advice or not, doesn't matter, it's up to you. That really depends on your wallet and how you want to actually do things. But I feel like if you're gonna go good quality gift to give somebody, try to go organic and have less pesticides on your stuff, because it's not fun to put pesticides on you either, right? It's not a good idea. Specifically espresso tends to be finely ground a little bit more, and as far as I know from my research, this can leave a bit of a residue, almost like a coffee ground residue in the bottom of your tub. But if, as much as I know, if you rinse the tub pretty quickly, it should be able to just go down the drain fine. The nice thing about coffee grinds, I think that's supposed to be nice for even having, like, it's almost like an exfoliation property thing. Like if you get like really coarse ground coffee, it may be too coarse. It's not nice on people's feet apparently. I was reading like some blogs about it. So I would say get something finely ground, and you can use that. Apparently it's really good for cellulite. I don't even know. I haven't really tried it for that, but if you use it for exfoliation, it's really good. So again, it can dry out your skin a little bit. So that's why I'm going to add a little bit of the oatmeal, because that's going to moisturize your skin a little bit nicer. I mean, it can dehydrate you a little bit, and unfortunately in large doses, I think you can absorb it into your skin, and you can sort of, the caffeine can make you somewhat hyper or just jittery or something like that, especially if you bathe in it for a long period of time. But again, you have to have like a lot of coffee, I think, in order to feel the effects. But you can, your skin does absorb the coffee as well. You can feel a little bit, ooh, you know, some people are sensitive to it, and they like to like bathe in the morning with this and maybe have coffee on top of that. I don't know, whatever. I'm not a coffee drinker myself. I'm more of a tea person. So if you decide to even make this for tea people, like maybe make a very, very fine ground tea, maybe a green tea would be kind of nice. It, again, depends on people's preferences. It depends on people, if they're allergic to things, you know, you got to think about all this sort of stuff before you give things to people. But at the same time, this is a very unique, fun present to give someone, and it's just like an added element of decor, which is really cool. Like, it's not just you're paying attention to someone's self-care needs, which is really cool. So anyways, yeah, so I would say get some sort of finely ground coffee, like espresso. I'm gonna say espresso a few times because I'm making this have soap in it. I'm also using one or the other of either the shea butter or the goat's milk, and because they're white and they look kind of like bones, and you want them to stand out in this. Oh, also going to use this, keep forgetting to talk about this, but I'm going to use this as well to cut up soap. This is a pretty easy, straightforward DIY. It's kind of nice for anybody who likes dinosaurs, obviously, right? Like, it doesn't have to be just for guys. Like, I know a lot of people are probably thinking dinosaurs are normally a guy thing. It's a nice present to gift, like your brother, and I've got a brother who's really into dinosaurs, so this is another reason why I kind of came up with this idea. I really like dinosaurs myself. I actually made this shirt, just so you guys know. It's on my TeePublic website. I will link that down below. This is like my T-Rex one, and yeah, it's basically just like in a really pretty stone. It's not just a thing for guys. Like, so there's lots of girls that are really into dinosaurs too, myself included. Like, I just find that stuff really fascinating. Guys and girls can both love, it doesn't matter, it's not gender specific, this particular DIY, but if you decide to gift this to a guy, maybe give him some options. And if he likes baths, that's awesome, but not all guys like baths, right? So you can give him the option to give him a few tips on how to make this into a scrub for a shower. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like making gender specific kind of DIYs or anything like that, because honestly, like, I feel like that's silly, like to put people in a gender box or whatever. I don't know. I think that stuff is silly. Whatever, everybody's different, obviously. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of a really fun project for any time of year. So if you wanted to give this to somebody for their birthday, or for Christmas, or for an anniversary, or for Father's Day, for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, whatever. There's a whole bunch of different days that you could gift something like this, and you know, and honestly, it doesn't even have to be like a specific event day. It could be just like happy self-care day, you know, like, here, this is a just because present you know? And I think that that's kind of like the beauty of these salt baths. Like they're an easy enough thing to sort of whip up and give somebody for any time, really. So I'm guessing you guys kind of want to see the DIY. I've been talking long enough, so hopefully we can get onto the DIY. So as you can see, I have a few different types of soaps here for this project, and I'm just basically going to kind of take it out of the package and cut it up. Oh, I've already cut these out, huh? Wow, how convenient is that? This one looks like it needs to be recut right here. I'm going to just show you basically how to... This must have been the last project that I did. It's normally harder than this to to cut stuff. Anyways, I've already cut these into cubes apparently, so for the last project that I did, I didn't expect that. You guys kind of get the idea, the gist of it, right? So it's very, very soft right now because it's summertime, so it would be probably fairly easy to cut with something along this line. Anyways, so I'm just going to basically put this in the double boiler and melt this. If I need more, I'll get some more in my shea butter soap package here that I have. And I'm using a metal bowl for this particular thing, and basically all I have to do is just pop these little chunks that you've already kind of cut up in advance. Just pop them in here, and then you sort of put it on the double boiler, which I'm going to show you right now. I put the water in a pot, and I've got this at max here. Once this boils, I'm just going to basically pop this over top. That's basically the double boil system, which a lot of people know how to do already. If they're into soap making, it's easier to double boil, or I guess put it in the microwave and that sort of thing. It's starting to boil a little bit, it's starting to bubble, so I can probably put this on here, and the steam's probably going to do quite a bit. If you're going to be using a spoon, I do recommend using like a wooden spoon for this. Yeah, so we'll just wait for this to melt. It shouldn't take too long, seeing as it's summertime and things should get pretty hot in here. It's starting to melt a little bit. I sort of turned down the heat temperature. So some people will get like almost like a clear bowl for this. I don't really have a clear one. You can use either. It's fine for either one. Oh, look how milky it's getting. It looks very milky. So this is the shea butter one. Shea butter is really nice for your skin. It's really softening, which is nice, and very moisturizing. And it also smells really good. Be careful because like the metal, probably glass too, but like the metal is really hot, so you can always wear like some sort of mitts when you're handling this stuff too. You just keep sort of stirring this sort of thing so it doesn't really burn. Yeah, that should sort of do the trick. Just wait till it kind of melts all the way down. As you can see, it's melting down quite a bit. This is, say, 5 minutes later or something around there. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all melted down. But it's getting there, it's getting there. So, I don't think there's any more lumps. Oh, there's a few more. There's a few lumps left in here, so I'm going to leave it on here a little longer until those lumps are pretty much gone. But you can see that it's gone pretty milky. This is kind of where you can probably, if you wanted to, in general, if you're soap making, you can add some fragrances if you need to, or you could potentially add some sort of soap specific color. I don't think you can easily add food coloring to soap. I think you have to get specific color dyes for soap. Look into that maybe in some sort of craft store. Once this is completely melted down, I'm going to remove it from the heat and fill up some of the soap mold that I have for this project. So I have the soap here kind of all liquefied, and I'm going to use one of these colorful measuring cups, and probably the smallest one because it's going to be a little easier to get in there. And yeah, let's just put this on a towel so that, because it's a little wet when you do the double boiling, and just going to scoop up a little bit. This is going to be really easy to clean up because it's basically you're just cleaning up soap, which isn't too bad. And just sort of pour it in there. And I like to do it kind of slowly. if I need to. Oops, I got a few little drips here and there, but that's not a big deal. So this is like a cool silicone mold. Just gonna do a little faster. And so it should pop pretty much right out. It's already solidifying a little bit. If you want to, you can take it right back to the heat and just heat it up a little bit more if you need to work with it a little longer. But it's pretty easy and straightforward. You just sort of fill up all the little crevices, and it's easy to drip stuff everywhere, obviously, but try your best to, you know, not drip too much. Oops, I just went a little overboard there. And what you can also do, in case you see some bubbles forming on the top, what I like to do is I like to get some rubbing alcohol here and basically just fill the little spray bottle, and I'll show you guys right now with this. And you just basically squirt a little bit on top. And this actually works for stuff like resin and stuff like soap. It gets the bubbles out really easily. So get some rubbing alcohol, get a little spray bottle, and spray a little bit of this on top. So that's basically that. I'm gonna let this cool. I'm probably going to just take these little beads of soap, and once it's dry, and basically just reheat them and turn it into some other soap later on. So I'm just going to pull kind of on the sides of this silicone just to loosen this guy a little bit. I find it helps to keep it all in one piece when releasing larger molds. Just sort of loosen it up a little bit. Anyways, and then I just basically put it down on the plate and just press and pop them out. And this guy turned out a lot better than the beach one, but the beach one turned out pretty cute, I think. Once I got all the soap skin, I guess, off around the sides. You can even do that if you want to pop it out this way as well. But basically there's all the little pieces of the dinosaur. Okay, and then you can sort of put this aside. So right now we're going to do coloring like we did with the sand last time. We're going to try to make this a little darker. And this is some espresso coffee. As you can see, it looks like dirt. It's a very nice fragrance, actually. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but I like the smell of coffee. Some people don't like the smell. Some people love the smell of coffee. I love this. It's actually a really beautiful sort of fragrance. Anyways, so there's this, and you're going to use this throughout it. We're going to do some layering and stuff. So I'm going to color this. I was going to use this food coloring, but I feel like I mentioned it in the beach one just in case you didn't watch that one. The gel food coloring might not be the best method for stuff like this. This is a little bit hard. I'm going to take some of these out of here, these little lumps. Anyways, basically you're going to make it super clumpy and also wet, and then you have to dry it out for quite a while. So this way you don't have to do that method. It can be a lot faster for you. And be careful with this sort of thing, like, because a lot of pigment can sort of stain your skin. I'm trying to use this, just a little bit more of this pigment. A little goes a long way, but I'm just going to use a little bit more of this than last time, just to make more of a sandy dirt kind of effect. We'll see how this goes. And so this bag method is actually really nice in case you don't want to get your hands dirty, because sometimes people, when they're mixing stuff, they get their hands right in there. So this is actually nice for kids if kids want to color this stuff too and make, like, you know, a present for somebody. It's really cool. So I'm going to put just a little bit in for now, and then put a little bit more to make it darker if I wanted to. I'm just going to add that to that and see how that goes. I'm assuming this is just going to look more like the sand like last time. I'm going to add more as we go. So just massage the salt to get this kind of effect. Now this is pretty cool looking already. looks very much sand-like, almost like a darker sand already, but I kind of want it to be darker pigment than this too. And this will probably, once it's wet, look much darker in the tub as well. Try to get the lumps and stuff too, if there's lumps in there. And there's also like other salts that maybe they don't have bleach in them or anything like that, so they may be almost like a darker color anyways. But I mean, as pretty as it is, I think I'm going to add a little bit more pigment powder to that of the food dye. I don't like to do too much, but let's just add a little bit more than this, because as I said, a little goes a long way. As you can see, it colors it pretty easily. Maybe I'll add some more. Hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. Let's see if that does anything. Try to get it all in there. So that's in case you guys want to know what brand this is that I'm using. It's basically CK Products Powder Food 8-color kit. So, and that's the brown in there in that particular kit. Okay, so I'm going to Ziploc the bag again and massage it in there. And now most people, just giving you guys a little color theory lesson too, most people don't realize that you can create a brown by mixing all three of the primary colors together, or even just complementary colors, which is basically all the primary colors together. And sometimes you can create a black too, depending on the pigments that you're using. But if you have nice true pigments, you can create a nice brown color. And again, depending on, say you want more of a reddy color brown, you can add more red pigments and so on and so forth. But yeah, I feel like this is very dirt-like. You can see, I mean, obviously this is very dirt-like. It's very dark, this espresso, but this is going to be nice for layering. And so another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some oatmeal to this too. So this is going to be a lot of layering happening, okay? So basically I got some instant oats, and I'm going to, as I said, layer stuff. So oats are a really nice thing to add to a salt bath, mainly because it's really good for the skin, as I said before, so it can sort of moisturize your skin for quite a bit, which is kind of nice and makes it really soft. I'm going to take this guy, this little bit, and I'm going to blend it up in the blender. I'm going to use my magic bullet for this, and this is just going to be for layering flakes, just again for almost like a dirt-like effect. So this should be really, really cool, I think, in the end. I just find that the magic bullet is just like almost like a powerhouse kind of tool, but you can use whatever you want, any kind of blender that you feel works best for you. Yeah, so you can blend this however you want. You can blend it for a long time by just pushing down and turning it like that. But I like to pulse this, and it sort of blends it up, and then I sort of like to shift things around if I'm going to be making oatmeal into a powder form. So it's kind of like powdery like that. I would say do it maybe a little longer just to get all the chunks and stuff. I don't have to, but I like the powder stuff. But we're going to layer it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so there you go. It's all powdered, and we're going to use that in our little blend, and that's going to look so nice and cute, I think. Okay, so I have all these different variations of things that are going to feel nice on someone's skin, but they all also kind of look a little like dirt, which is kind of what I'm going for in this project. So now you could basically just layer, kind of like what I did with the beach scene. I'm going to refer to the beach scene again, but you can sort of layer stuff and then just sort of put the dinosaur bones in there. This is unfortunately too small of a jar to be doing that. Maybe if you have a larger jar, like almost like a pasta sauce jar, that actually might kind of look nice with this. But I'm going to try to do almost like, again, decorating it like a snow globe in a way with this jar. This is like the larger jar that I think is really cute. And if you want to, you can even like do the powder pigments and stuff like that to darken this stuff as well. I just want like different variations of colors and stuff like that to look like sand and dirt and rock and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, you can basically just start layering. So I'm going to take a little bit of espresso, maybe put some at the bottom so it looks kind of like dirt. Another way of doing this that I almost completely forgot is you can take like a funnel and also just layer in stuff with this. So that's another method. I was just covering the bottom though with this. I'm going to take this and sort of sweep it back in here so nothing is wasted. But yeah, you take a scoop. Just scoop all the dry ingredients in there. You can put more sand in there if you'd like. I'm calling it sand, but it's salt anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Put a few different scoops of that in there and shift it all around. You know, and then if you want to, you can start sort of layering in these dinosaur bones, which is really cute. The salt actually sort of provides some sort of stand, I guess, so these guys can stand up a little bit as you put them in. And then I'm just going to keep layering in the ingredients that I have here. So then I'm going to probably sprinkle in a little bit of this kind of oatmeal stuff, just for like a little added something, and maybe a little bit of the powdered stuff as well. And sprinkle that in just a little bit. So I don't like to measure things, I like to sort of eye things, especially because everyone's jar size is going to be different, so I'm not going to say exact measurements, but you know, you can sort of figure it out as you go. So I'm just going to add a little more coffee, a little espresso to make it look more dirt-like. I keep forgetting to use this guy. And let's add some more of the salt. This can get a little messy, but it's still pretty fun to do. So the bones are still showing quite a bit. And that's not what we want. Let's make a little more dirt, sand, whatever you want to call this in here. I might do some adjusting here as well. So this might be hard to cover up for what I'm doing. So I'm just going to kind of adjust the tail a little bit. And just sort of push that on there. You can do that with your hand if you want to. And then just layer. Again, you can layer the flakes first or the powder first. It doesn't really matter. Layer in as much as you want. And I would say top it off with some coffee, as much as you need, just to make the top part look like dirt. And you can sort of see some bones poking out, which is fine, because I'm going to top it off with a little bone there. I also have, I think these are really cute, so I got these. They're like little coconut tree picks, so they kind of look like the little umbrellas, just like this, basically, when you take them out of the package. And then I just already kind of opened one up. And you can just sort of layer it inside. Here, I might take it down a little bit. Just a bit so it can fit in there. If it doesn't fit in there, you can always snap it off a bit too, because I find it's a little bit tall for certain jars. So you just sort of stick that in there so it looks like a little sort of tree. I'm also going to add a little shovel. So it looks like I've uncovered some
I'm gonna add some more coffee here. Whoops. I'm just gonna put that in there so you can, it just looks like somebody's digging a little bit. Anyways, I think this turned out really cute, and as you can see, the layering method makes it look like a lot like dirt and sand and all that sort of stuff mixed together, and that's gonna look super duper cute, I think. But yeah, that's basically just with some coffee, some espresso, and some Epsom salt, some oatmeal ground and unground. It's like instant oatmeal, and some soap that we made. It looks like little fossils. And also, if you want to add this, you don't have to. It's kind of a nice little touch, and again, you can add a little shovel in there too. If you want to, you can make this into a scrub just by adding either coconut oil or olive oil to this. I like this layering thing. You can make like a little gift tag on the side and tell the person if they want to, they can add that kind of oil to make it a scrub if they're more of a shower person. But I think this is really cute as decor, like as a little display. It looks like you're uncovering dinosaurs. So I thought I'd talk about this in case you don't find a silicone mold like this, like for fossils, if nothing like this is available online. For you, you could always make your own. If you wanted to get a plastic toy or something of like dinosaur bones, you could always get like this. This is a non-toxic mold meant for food, and you basically press whatever you need into, you have to blend the things together, and then you basically form it into almost like a ball shape and then press your item in there. So if you want to, you could basically press some faux bones, I guess, like toy bones, into this little mold and let that dry. Look at the instructions, see how long you need to do it for, and then basically you're going to have a little mold, and you can use that countless times to make presents such as this. So you're not out of luck if you can't find something like this online, and that's okay. This is a really cute thing and it really works well, but there's other methods of doing this in case you really like this idea. Okay, I hope that helped at least somebody out there. I hope you enjoyed that DIY that just happened. I think it turned out really cute. It's like super adorable. And it's hard to see, unfortunately, though, because of the jar that I've chosen. If you don't want this design on it, you don't have to go out and get the same exact jar that I got. A pasta sauce jar would actually work out really nicely. And yeah, it looks really cool, though. Obviously, don't eat this. This is not something that you want to eat. Ingesting this is not an option, unfortunately. So I sort of showed you guys in the last video that I kind of made this. So it's sort of like the same layering effect, but this is sort of what it looks like in a clear jar. So if you guys get a clear big jar of some kind and decide to do something similar to this sort of thing, then I think it's gonna look super cute too. You can even do a small jar like this and then just like a few little bones in here, but either way it's just really adorable. I think it's just so pretty, it smells nice, it's just so cute. Like, I feel like any jungle or dinosaur lover or anything like that would really love this, obviously, or anybody that's into dinosaurs or reptiles or that sort of stuff. So, by the way, this is my Brachiosaurus in opal shirt that I have on my TeePublic store, and I am putting the link down below in case you guys like these shirts and are interested. I also have a Triceratops one, and that one's really cool too. Anyways, I hope you guys really like that video, and if you do, as always, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. Also, if you've already subscribed but you think somebody else is going to like this content, please share. Anyways, I hope you guys, as always, have a fantastic day, week, month, year, whatever. Yeah, I hope you enjoy your future, whatever it is. All right,
Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye.